Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 7, Episode 8. Now, a quick hello, how are you? To all of my new subscribers, welcome. And that's how I usually start off a video. I'm usually always very pleasant, in great spirits, but these last few episodes of Potomac have taken it out of me. So that's why last week's video was so angry. So I just want to say, this is how I usually am. I'm usually smiley and happy, and I started off like, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And last week you didn't get that. But I'm happy that you're here. And because of you guys, I will continue to watch and review Potomac, even if it kills me. But that's how much I love you guys. A lot of you guys were pleading with me on Instagram, like, Brooke, please don't quit on the show. We need to hear what you have to say. Like, please, we need you. So because of that, I will continue on, and we will all suffer together, because the way Mia, Gizelle, and Robin continue to be out of line and try everybody's nerves, I was just as pissed off, if not more. But let's just jump right on into it, because you guys already know that we don't have a minute to spare. I think that I said in last week's video that it's a sad day when Ashley is on the right side of things, because when we open up this episode, they're all at the dinner table minus Mia and Wendy, and you have Ashley saying that Mia was completely wrong and how that was completely unnecessary. And then you have Gizelle talking about both sides were unnecessary. Now, for the people in the back, somebody let me know, how was Wendy wrong in this? She was sitting at that table, trying to eat her appetizers, minding her business, when Mia set her big feet down and started all the mess. If you throw a drink in my face, which is assault, by the way, but if you should disrespect me like that, I have the full right to say whatever I want to you going forward. You don't get to throw a drink at me, violate me, invade on my personal space, and then tell me what to say and how to feel. That's not how this works. Wendy did not do anything wrong. And like I said, nothing that Wendy did or said warranted Mia throwing a drink in her face or hitting her with her cheap clutch. Gizelle is so sad that you're just such a hateful individual that you are going to sit here and lie like this. You know good and damn well that Wendy's not wrong. Now off to the side, we see Wendy screaming about how she will not be staying at this house. She wants somebody to get her a ticket back home because she's not going to be here, especially not with Mia. And I understand how she feels, because I'll be damned if you physically assault me and think that I'm about to sit up here in this house for this to happen again.
No.
Now, when we see Karen walk over to Mia, because Mia wants to leave, she's in the car with Jacqueline, and Mia fixed those inflated lips to say to Karen how Karen didn't have her back in all this and how she's hurt. Mia, on what planet is somebody going to stick up for you when you're clearly in the wrong? Now, Karen, you also pissed me off talking about two wrongs don't make a right and how they both canceled each other out and they're both wrong. Like I just said a few minutes ago, Mia threw that drink in her face. Wendy could have talked about anything that she wanted to at that point. And Karen, I got on you in the last video because I'm so sick and tired of you always trying to play Switzerland all the time. This neutral stuff is BS. You always pride yourself on being the most mature and the oldest in the group, so stand up for what's right. I don't understand why you're always trying to play devil's advocate all the time. And you did it in season 5 when Monique assaulted Candiace. It's always, well, you know, you guys are both wrong. No, some stuff wrong is just wrong. Wendy did nothing wrong. Wendy is 110% innocent in this whole situation. The act of Mia throwing that drink in Wendy's face brought on what Wendy said to her after. Everybody, for the most part, in my comments in last week's video even said that you would have gone after everybody had Mia done that to you. Karen, I highly doubt that you would have just sat there and taken it if that had been done to you. So why are you trying to act like what Wendy did is wrong? And one of y'all made a great point on Twitter about Karen being neutral all the time. It's a coward's way out because she's trying to gauge what the audience is going to say. So she's trying to toe the line. And then she'll make her final decision once the show is aired and she sees what the audience reaction to whatever happened plays out. And it's obvious that that's what it is because, again, I don't understand how you're playing neutral in a situation like this where clearly only one person is wrong. May I be really honest with y'all? I have always been on the fence with Karen. Like, even in the earlier days of Potomac, I always thought that she was doing too much, trying way too hard at times. Even the whole Grande Dame moniker, I was like, okay, girl, like, you clearly want a moment. I never really got on board with Karen being a fan favorite. In later seasons, I did start liking her, but then it shows me why I didn't like her in the first place when she pulls stupid games like this. And Karen, I loved meeting you at BravoCon. You were an absolute pleasure. But to see you like this now, I'm like, girl. Now, when Karen walked back to the table to join the rest of the women, and you have Gizelle talking about, you know what, I'm in a good mood, here's my dessert. I don't care if drinks are flying or somebody's getting hit with the purse, I'm still gonna enjoy my dessert. I don't know how anybody could have an appetite when somebody got hit upside the head and violated like that. Like, I'm just so confused. Gizelle thinks that everything is a joke. There's nothing funny about what happened. And those red velvet Oreos looked a mess anyway. They looked all thrown together on the plate. So I said, okay, girl, I guess. You're all hyped for that? Then you have Robin chiming in talking about she's upset because Karen could have diffused the situation, but she didn't do it. And I want to know, why was this Karen's responsibility to diffuse anything? Mia needs to control herself and keep her hands and her drinks to herself. Did you diffuse the situation, sis? You whipped your phone out. How is that helping things? You and Gizelle at the side taunting Wendy, but now you want to tell Karen that she could have helped diffuse what happened. Does that make any sense? Now, Ashley, while you're just as insufferable and just as evil, I was happy to see you show some concern about Wendy and making sure that she was okay. It was just really heartbreaking to see that only one person had Wendy's back in this whole ordeal. I was glad when Wendy said, I didn't do anything wrong. And I said, no, you didn't do anything wrong, Wendy. And please continue to know that. Nothing that Wendy said warranted that attack. Now, I will say that while Ashley checked on Wendy, I was a bit surprised that Karen didn't also check on Wendy too. Seeing as how she checked on Mia, why wouldn't you also check on Wendy? Now, the car rides back home were very interesting to watch because you have Gizelle, Robin, Mia, and Jacqueline in one car together. And of course, they're being hateful and delusional and blaming Karen for pretty much not diffusing the situation. Once again, what could Karen have done to have stopped Mia from throwing that drink in Wendy's face? If you guys were so concerned, then why didn't you guys do anything to stop it? Y'all were enjoying it. You guys were happy to see Wendy being embarrassed. And Mia, you really are a true idiot. Because for you to say that you're mad at Karen because she just sat there while Wendy filleted Gordon, I'm like, are you insane? Wendy only filleted your husband because you sat up there and threw a drink in her face. What aren't you getting? So you think that Wendy should just sit there and take whatever BS that you spew out. Is that so? And let's also discuss another thing. Mia has said a lot of nasty things about everybody and their husbands. She's sitting up there talking about Candiace's husband, Chris, wants her and was staring at her at Karen's party. Is that not filleting somebody else's husband? So it's okay for you to talk about somebody else's husband and spread lies about them. But when somebody tells the truth about your husband, now you're upset. And Wendy told no lies when she said, that's why you and your husband sleep with other people. You said it yourself last season that you and Gordon have threesomes, and how Gordon's actual and preferred type are white women. You said that out of your own mouth, girl. So don't be mad that Wendy sprayed you with your own tea, in the words of Funky Dineva. But let's not do that. You invited the disrespect when you did what you did. And it is so hilarious to me that you, Gizelle, and Robin had no idea that you would get this type of backlash, because your response now, you're sitting up there deactivating your Twitter account, you've locked the comments on your Instagram account, now you're putting out statements about how you want to quit the show and you don't want to come back, and you can't believe that you've gotten this horrible response from the fans. And I hope that you feel just as dumb as you look right now. Now, when they all get back to the house, of course, you have the Green-Eyed Bandits, Mia, Jacqueline, and Charisse downstairs talking. Gizelle's being all smug, talking about, so what is she doing? Is she leaving? Is she staying? Like, what is she doing? And then you have Jacqueline talking about Mia and Wendy are two bosses who never get told the word no, so that's why they clash, because they're both strong women in their own right. And I'm like, Jacqueline, can you shut up? Why are you trying to be Mia's spokesperson? She did it all episode long. Like, girl, we don't want to hear from you. Shut up. Just sit there. And Mia is a boss of absolutely nothing. So miss me with all this. She's a boss. She's not a boss. And you are definitely not a boss if Gordon's family can come in and wipe your accounts out and lock you out of the business. And are you really a boss if you have to keep saying it a million times? It's like people who talk about how rich they are. Chances are, if you have to say it, then that means you probably aren't. And I was so glad that while they were running their mouths, Wendy was upstairs and packed up her Louis luggage and left. She said, shout out to everybody, I had fun, but I will not be here in this sorry house with this twin bed and not enough bathrooms.
Oh! Shout out to everybody, I had fun.
I gotta be good.
And Wendy did the right thing leaving that house, because can you truly feel comfortable going to sleep knowing that you have 3 demonic entities plotting on you? I would not be able to sleep well. So I would have done the same thing, and I would have left to go to a 5-star hotel. Now, it's the next morning, and a lot of interesting conversations took place, especially at breakfast. We see Gizelle, Charisse, and Ashley sitting down eating. And of course, Gizelle can't help herself. And she's like, Ashley, how are you? Because last night you seemed kind of angry. And Ashley says, well, that's because I don't condone violence. So now Charisse jumps in talking about, well, Ashley, it sounds a bit contradictory because of what happened 2 years ago. Now you have Gizelle jumping in, calling Ashley out about how she condoned what Monique did to Candiace and how she wrote a statement against Candiace. Now, Ashley, I have to call you out for that too. Because how do you not like violence, but you were on Monique's side and wrote a statement in defense of what Monique did? So you are contradicting yourself, but at least this time you're on the side of right. So I'll give you, I guess, half a point for that. And before anybody gets in my comments about how you're on Monique's side, I'm letting you know right now that Monique was wrong. And I will always maintain that what she did was wrong, and Candiace did nothing to deserve that. And I'll go even further to say that Monique wanted to hit Gizelle and Robin, but knew that she couldn't. And she went for the easy target, the weakest link. And that's why she hit her friend. But let's just leave season 5 in the past, okay? I don't want to talk about it anymore. But now Ashley calls Gizelle out because it's like, you were so against what Monique did to Candiace. So to see you being in full support of what Mia did to Wendy is baffling. And this is a conversation where I can't stand either one of these women. I think they are both vile and disgusting, but they both had points. They were both right and they were both wrong at the same time. Ashley was wrong 2 years ago, but she's right now. Gizelle was right 2 years ago, but she's wrong now. And let me call Gizelle out. Gizelle, you didn't care about Candiace and how she felt. You just hated Monique so bad. Because had Ashley hit Candiace, I'll bet money that Gizelle would have been in full support. All in all, Gizelle and Ashley's conversation was a matter of they're both right, but they're both full of it at the same time. I was happy to see Candiace in the house. She's already prepped about what happened the night before, and I was screaming when she said, look, Wendy did seem angry in that video that Robin showed me, but at the same time, if you throw a drink in my face, I am grabbing your edges and I am taking them home with me. And I said, girl, exactly that. Because you're not going to throw a drink in my face and then think that it's going to be all good. Mia would have been face down on that table. Had she thrown a drink at me. Now, when all the ladies went outside and they're wishing Karen a happy birthday, and then Mia started going over the itinerary, talking about she's going to have a beach day for all the ladies at the Savoy Hotel, and then afterwards they're going to have dinner, and she wants them all to wear white. I was like, Mia, you are nobody's party planner. And this trip has already been a flop. It's only the second day. And a fight breaks out. A fight that you started, I might add. So I don't know if I would have been too keen to go with any of your plans. This needs to be Mia's first and last time planning a trip. Well, this actually needs to be her last season on this show. I thought it was so funny that Mia had to hire a nail tech to come to the house and fix her broken nail. And she was trying to be all smug, talking about, oh yeah, you guys know that I had to fix my nails because of what happened last night. And it's like, you caused it. You broke your own nail. And now you want to blame somebody else. This is how I know that Wendy has y'all pressed and she lives in your minds rent-free. Because when Gizelle, Jacqueline, Charisse, and Robin were in the pool and they're talking about Wendy, Robin's like, so where is she? Is she back home in Maryland? And then Jacqueline said, no, she's actually at a hotel. And they were like, oh. And I'm thinking, if you guys hate Wendy so much, then why are you talking about her? And it's not like you're asking out of concern, so you shouldn't be talking about her. And it's even bigger weirdo behavior because, especially you, Robin, it makes no sense how much you dislike Wendy. You really have a hate for this woman and you can't even explain why you hate her so much. I thought the conversation between Karen, Ashley, and Candiace was interesting too, because you have Karen saying, well, last night was crazy and I don't like the fact that Wendy's not here right now, and I also don't like Mia getting physical, but I don't like the lies being thrown at Mia about her husband. And I was so happy when Candiace said, but getting physical and words are completely different and you know it. And if you can't fight with your words, then that's a problem. And you cannot use it as an excuse to hit somebody. And for all of y'all who swear that Candiace has this reckless mouth and she's just so nasty and antagonistic, then I don't know what to tell you guys. This show is about throwing shade to each other. And if you can't keep up, then that's your issue. But just because you're not witty enough to go back and forth with somebody does not give you the right to hit somebody. If somebody outreads you, then go back to the drawing board and use your brain and think of something else for the next argument. But you don't resort to hitting somebody. And once again, the minute you throw a drink in my face, I get to say whatever the F I want to you. Don't you dare try to police what I say after I've been disrespected to the highest degree. And it's so funny to me how you guys are so quick to believe what Peter has to say about Wendy, but when Wendy says something about Mia and her marriage, now it's a problem? That's really weird to me. I was just so glad that Candiace kept reiterating that what Mia did was wrong. And then when she added that Robin justifying what happened is wrong too. And then we see a clip of the night before and Robin's telling Candiace how Wendy has a bad habit of cutting people off, not letting them speak, and how there have been times when she wanted to hit or throw a glass at Wendy too. And I said, we know how aggressive you get, Robin Dixon. You have a history.
Robin, this is putting my finger in your
out
face.
of my face, Robin. Out of my Robin. Please get out of my restaurant.
And if Wendy does interrupt people and it bothers you so much, then why don't you just walk away? And nobody in this group lets anybody talk. So the audacity for you to act like Wendy's just so obnoxious and doesn't let you talk, well, you and Gizelle do the same thing to people when you argue, do you not? And in last week's episode, did Mia let Wendy talk? She kept cutting her off when they were arguing. But that was okay because it's being done to Wendy. But when Wendy defends herself, then it's a problem. I'm going to keep saying it, and I don't care who gets tired of it. Colorism is the 8th housewife on this franchise. And when Candiace started crying about what happened to Wendy, I felt her pain. I'm very sensitive. I cried at the drop of a hat too, so I got it. I would have cried as well because this is sad. It's clear that they are trying to ice Wendy out and run her off this show. And they want to run Candiace off this show too. And then you have Robin and Gizelle and Charisse and Jacqueline watching their conversation. And Robin's talking about, why is Candiace over there crying? I just don't understand it. Robin, I'm not surprised that you can't understand human emotion. I'm sure you're numb with all that Juan has put you through for 2 decades. You probably haven't cried in years. And did anybody scream when Robin went on to say that Candiace can't compare what happened 2 years ago to what happened last night? And I really fell out when she said, yes, Mia was wrong for throwing the drink, but Wendy was wrong for escalating the situation. And Robin, I want them to play the tapes back at this reunion on your behavior since season 1. And Robin, here's where we catch you in yet another lie. The producer says to Robin, it seems like you're more on Mia's side. And Robin says, I am, because I just don't like Wendy, and she starts laughing. Now, Robin, that's just so funny to me because that completely contradicts what you just said in a recent interview with the Today Show 5 days ago. Should I read you what you said? Dixon tells Today.com, Mia was wrong for throwing the drink. I wish she didn't do it. But my thing with Wendy was, I really wanted her to stop because I didn't want her to do something that she would regret that jeopardized her job or her reputation. Dixon continues, I explained to her that you have more to lose than Mia. When I'm telling her you're being antagonistic, I'm telling her that because I'm saying you're going to make her do something that you don't want her to do because you don't want to be caught up in it. So that was my whole point, and I'm upset that they didn't really express that. So right there with you laughing and saying, I just don't like Wendy, so that's why I'm on Mia's side, you're a bold-faced liar. Wendy, you have my permission, along with everybody else's permission, to go off at this reunion. And you better be first seat next to Andy like you were last season. Candiace also needs to be in the first seat next to Andy too. I was happy when Candiace, Ashley, and Karen called up Wendy to check on her, see how she was doing. Wendy sounded really sad. You could tell that she was crying. She said that she was crying all night, and anybody would be. To be disrespected like that and nobody comes to your rescue, that has to be the worst feeling ever. And it is truly disgusting to watch women at their big ages try to bully somebody. We see Ashley trying to invite Wendy to the beach party that Mia wants to throw later on. Now, I was thinking, Ashley, let's use our heads for just 2 seconds here, because why would you think that Wendy would want to come to Mia's beach party? I'm not attending the event of the person who assaulted me the night before. That's not happening. I know you're filming a show and all, and you have to get scenes together, but let's be realistic for just a few minutes. And then you have Karen inviting Wendy to the birthday dinner later on, but Wendy says that she'll pop out for a little bit to see them. She's not going to let the fake boss ruin her weekend. And I said, I know that's right. And I said, you're already winning, Wendy. You're at a 5-star hotel and they're all in this house sharing bathrooms and they have the water pipes over them. We really see how stupid Mia is, because when Karen goes back in the house to let Mia know that it's her birthday and she wants Wendy to celebrate the day with her, and then you have Mia getting mad talking about, well, it's too soon. I don't want to see Wendy. I don't ever want anybody to think that it's okay to disrespect my husband. Wendy owes you no apology. Let's be very clear. You're the one who owes Wendy several apologies. And the only reason why you finally apologized to Wendy via social media because of all the backlash. You stupidly thought that we'd be on your side. You really don't see how much of a loser you really are. And then you have Mia shading Karen because she's mad now. And she's talking about, well, anybody who supports Wendy doesn't support me. And then Karen's talking about, oh, are you trying to sub me, sis? Like, are you saying that I'm not your friend because I'm also Wendy's friend too? I was glad that Karen pretty much paid me a dust. Like, you know what, sis? You can be mad about it, but it's my birthday at the end of the day, and I'm going to spend it with whoever I want to spend it with. And I was even happier to see Karen, Ashley, and Candiace decide, you know what? Screw the beach day. We're going to go and get some lunch with Wendy and hang out with her and check on her and see how she's feeling. And I would have done the same thing because, again, I'm always going to stand up for what's right. Now, of course, Mia was angry at them going to hang out with Wendy because before they leave the house, Mia gets out of her car and she opens up the car with Ashley, Karen, and Candiace in it. And she says, oh, by the way, when you guys all come back, you need to find somewhere else to stay because you can't stay here. If you want to see Wendy, then you can't stay in this house. So find your own accommodations.
So I'm just going to be fully transparent with all of you, okay? Y'all listening? Except for Karen, because she came to me and she told me what she was doing. You guys are going to need a place to stay when you come back, okay? I'm sorry.
And the way Ashley read her, she was like, girl, are you serious right now? Like, that is so petty of you, really? And then when Ashley went on to say, girl, she has the audacity to bring her size 13 foot here, telling me what I can and can't do and where I can and can't stay. And I was screaming when Candiace said, girl, I am not leaving this house just because you're mad that your feet are big. Girl, how dare you? You have us in this house 30 minutes away from South Beach and you're trying to kick me out of it? Are you serious? But I would have said, girl, I will gladly leave. I'll be at the Ritz-Carlton or the W or the Satai. Don't threaten me with a good time. And it was so obvious that the only reason why Mia did that was to put on a show and try to impress Robin and Gizelle. Oh, and I want to quickly point out how Wendy was able to get a room at a moment's notice, but Charisse was on hold with 5 hotels and couldn't get a room. If you hated the accommodations that much, then why didn't you find a hotel? Girl, a 5-star hotel will always have a suite available. So it just shows me that you wanted the attention and you wanted to be up under Gizelle and Robin. I just thought that I would point that out because all throughout this episode, I kept asking myself, why is Charisse still here? Why isn't she at a hotel? But anyhow, we see all them head to the beach and Mia's beach day looked real whack and real lame. Nothing really happened, nothing to really say. They were trying to twerk at one point. They all looked stupid. And then you have Robin shading Mia, talking about, oh, you know, well, I see Mia and I don't see any cancerous lumps on her butt, so what happened to that? I said, you see Mia? You did all that trying to impress them and they're still shading you about your health. But those are your friends, right? And when those young guys came up to you and you guys were all touching on them, I was like, y'all all looked like desperate losers. These guys are 20, 21 years old. Gizelle, you know how she gets every time there's a man around. I said, did you guys get their consent to touch them? Gizelle, you're over here talking about Candiace's husband made you feel uncomfortable and you're rubbing up on these guys that you don't even know. They need to put a lawsuit out against you. How you made them feel uncomfortable on that beach. But y'all just look so pathetic. I said Karen, Ashley, Candiace, and Wendy didn't miss out on a thing. Because like I said, that beach day was real dry and real stale. But if Mia wants to believe that she knows how to throw and plan a 5-star vacation, then so be it. Now, I loved the scene with Karen, Wendy, Candiace, and Ashley having lunch together. They're asking her how she's feeling, and Wendy says, I feel hurt because nobody should violate somebody else's space. And let's think about this. You threw a drink at me over Peter Thomas? Like, are you serious? Now, I loved how Wendy spilled the tea about Peter was telling her some information about how he stopped talking to Mia and Gordon a while back because they used to go on vacations together, and Mia did some real snake stuff to his girlfriend that he was dating at the time. So she's confused as to how Mia could call Peter her brother and how he's family, but yeah, she's trying to pull something on his girlfriend at the time. And then Ashley says that obviously Wendy does have some dirt on Mia because the way Mia got up and turned into the Hulk at that table last night, there's obviously something to what Wendy's saying. I would not be surprised in the least bit if Mia did pull something shady towards Peter and the woman he was dating at the time. Mia is a snake. So I wasn't believing all this about how that's her family and she just loves Peter like a brother. Please. Honestly, the way she got so hyped in last week's episode, I was assuming that maybe Mia and Peter had something going on a few years back because her reaction was a bit weird. Why are you getting so hyped over a man that you're not with? I thought it was funny when Ashley brought up Mia trying to kick her and Candiace out the house. And Wendy said, girl, Mia is on a power trip. I don't know why, but just because you put on a cheap blazer and some 4-inch stilettos, that does not make you a boss. Like, when's the last time Mia picked up a book? And then when she added, and not Green Eggs and Ham by Dr. Seuss, an actual book. Because meanwhile, back at the ranch, I actually wrote a book. I said, come through, Wendy. I'm here for all the shade. Like I said, once you invade my personal space, once you put your hands on me, throw something at me, I'm going in every time I see you.
And you're gonna always get it again and again and again.
I really enjoyed that after their lunch, Wendy and Candiace went to the studio so Candiace could hear her new track with Trina. Trina was in the studio as well, and I was here for it. The song sounded great. I was just so happy to see them both in great spirits. Wendy cheering Candiace on, them talking to Trina, Trina giving advice. Like, that's a really big deal. Say what you want, feel how you feel about Candiace, but you cannot deny the fact that this woman got on this show and she is using it to her advantage. This is how you use the hell out of a platform. Candiace has been in multiple shows, movies. She's about to be on that new show with Erica Mena and T.S. Madison. I think it's either on BET Plus or All Black, but the show looks really, really good. And again, shows, movies, albums. She's on tour with Faith Evans and SWV, a song out with Trina.
I love it. I love it.
And so is Wendy. Wendy has a book out, a successful candle line out. Both of them are using this platform to their full advantage. And a lot of their other castmates can't say the same. And it was also really cute when Wendy and Candiace left the studio and they started slithering off. I really do love their friendship. It's a genuine friendship, and I like how they have each other's backs. The end of this episode really showed Mia's psychosis because, once again, this woman needs full-blown help. We see Mia call Karen into her room because she wants to let Karen know that she's pissed off at the fact that Karen checked on Wendy earlier that day. And once again, why do we need Jacqueline to relay that information to Karen? Talking about Karen, Mia's in her feelings because of how you went to see Wendy earlier. And I'm thinking, Mia is sitting right there and she's a grown woman. She does not need you to speak for her. Their whole dynamic is very weird to me, but they're not even friends anymore. But again, we'll talk about that later. But child, you have Mia talking about Karen. I don't like how you're straddling the fence. and the fact that you're checking on somebody who didn't even own up to what they did. And I'm thinking, once again, sis, you're the one who's in the wrong. You started this whole thing. You threw a drink and then hit her with your clutch. Wendy did not do or say anything to warrant that. So for you to still try to spin this like Wendy's wrong is beyond me. I was happy that Karen checked her and said, girl, this birthday has been the birthday from hell. So I'm not going to sit up here and listen to all this. This whole argument was just so stupid. Mia sounded like a true idiot. I thought it was so funny when she went off about loyalty and how if somebody were going off on Jacqueline, she would have Jacqueline's back, no questions asked. And Karen says, so you want somebody to be loyal to you even if you're wrong? Like, I'm not going to do that. Now, personally, I feel like if you go back and look at Jacqueline's facial expressions and her body language, I think that Jacqueline also thinks that Mia's in the wrong for what she did to Wendy too. But she's too afraid to say it. There are times Jacqueline's looking at her friend like, okay, girl, you're doing too much. Like, all right, girl, like, shut up. I just don't think that Jacqueline is really on board with what Mia did either. But like I said, she's just in there for the free trip and some camera time, and she's too afraid to rock the boat. Karen saw that this conversation was going nowhere, so she's like, Mia, do you even want me here? And then you have Mia talking about, well, I feel responsible to host your birthday party. And Karen said, girl, I'm good. Like, don't do that. I have a candle and a cake. Ray sent me a bunch of roses. Like, I'm just fine. I don't need you to host anything for me. And I feel the same way. Don't act like you're doing me a favor. We're in Miami. I don't need you to throw me a birthday dinner. I can go to Carbone, all those nice restaurants there. I can go to Prime. I don't need you to help set anything up for me. Like, I'm good. So now you have Mia throwing it in Karen's face that the beach party was supposed to be a celebration of her birthday, but since she wanted to check on Wendy, then she already chose her side. And then we end the episode with Karen getting up and telling Mia to wake up and stop being childish. And then Jacqueline's asking Mia if this means that they're no longer friends. Honestly, are any of us surprised by Mia's antics? No. The girl needs help. It's clear. I have never seen such psychotic behavior before. I mean, I have, but I'm just saying that for dramatic effect. But I do think that it's crazy that somebody can convince themselves that what they did is right, knowing that they're wrong. Bravo. I am asking from the bottom of my heart. I know that you guys watch my channel. Please, let this be Mia's last season. She brings absolutely nothing to this show. And I also want for Gizelle and Robin to be fired as well, because they also bring nothing to this show too. Nothing but aggravation, colorism, bad attitudes, and vile behavior. And we don't tune in for this. To see these women so giddy and so excited to ice another woman out of the group is disgusting. And I already know that next week's episode is about to piss me off even more. Ashley, just when I started to almost tolerate you these last 2 episodes, here you go about to turn on Candiace. You have an obsession with throwing Candiace under the bus every chance you get. Why do you hate Candiace so much? Like, it's just weird. But y'all, that was my recap/rant. I hope you all enjoyed it. And you guys already know what to do. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all later. Bye.